Hello, people on the YouTube internet. This is Other Tom. I miss Drew. I'm sorry for making this beating a dead horse. I think I did that a few too many times. That poor horse is dead. I guess that's dead horse is the dead body I was talking about the other day. Well, that got dark for a second there, didn't it? Anyways, Schmoedown Rockers, what's up? Schmoedown Rocks again. This week we are talking about two things. Well, it's a better, but still frustrating week. 2020 hasn't been kind to me lately. Not even in my dungeon. To the point where I actually need Smets to beat Mara now. Oh, speaking of that, yeah, no shirt or that today, but I'll get the second best thing, even though he talked about diet Dr. Pepper, not regular. Though, fun fact, that's my mother's drink of choice. For daily drink of choice, 32-ounce fountain diet Dr. Pepper with crushed ice, because you can't find a slushie. Now I just need to make her a slushie. Just take some, put them in ice cubes, and then put them in our blender and make a slushie someday. Who knows? I'm thinking about it. Might be probably the best. She might thank me later. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But hold on a second. Anyways. Yeah, for this week's Schmoedown Rocks, well, that's a good thing to be a Patreon, because I needed to sulk. Like, bad. I might already tease the one gif from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know that one gif. I'm gonna go cry now. Yeah, that's what happened. Good on Real Rejects, though. They maybe they needed it more, since, technically, even though, the hype of the Cuckoo'S mess and the dungeon, even though dungeon really needed it more so, but then again, so did Quirky Mercs, I guess. But this is the first Quirky Mercs versus dungeon rivalry we will have, since we're going to get that with the IG championship between Mara Kanopik, and not to mention having Dan back in her corner, and Dan threatening to come after that belt on top of it. Especially if he comes out with the singles belt. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I doubt it, given the faction issue. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, other than that, and also speaking of Merle and that whole thing with Finstock and that whole match that's going to be happening this Friday. Which, speaking of that, this Friday I am going to have to probably expect another Schmoedown Rocks, but this Friday, because if I did it Monday, I'd have felt the need to want to spoil what happened at the live event from having streamed it. So I'm going to just do it Friday, get it out of the way immediately, fresh off of watching it. We'll see how it goes. It's happened before. I'm going to have it happen again. And that's kind of what's going to happen here. So, Finstock exchange issue. Apparently, in terms of who's managing what, and it's clear Ben is, clearly he's scared that he's going to lose tomorrow, the belt tomorrow, and he won't hear the end of it. And not to mention, it's not like Guy won't throw it in his face too, since he actually did beat Merle, even though that was a completely different Merle than this Merle. And I can't wait for that Merle to beat Guy if he does beat Ben, which is partially why I think this scary Dan is a hungry scary Dan, but Ben needs to just, whatever he had going in, how locked in he was going into Spectacular throughout, is what he needs to be, and that's what he needs to bring going into that match, because this match, because of all this drama, that match is now officially going to be and Finstock not knowing how to handle things, and it's clear Ben's getting in Finstock's head, and And I think he's really managing the whole thing to his own favor just to keep the damn belt, I guess. I don't know. But all I know is that hopefully at some point, Guy can actually wind up actually trying to go for a belt. And we can finally have the X Civil War be for a belt. More likely a team's belt. And I wouldn't hate the family getting the belt first at this point. More so because of McWeeny and just having him finally get that out of the way. And then have Who's the Boss come in and pretty much take it, and that'll be fine. And then after that, go from there. Maybe have Founding Fathers get the belt again. I don't know. We shall see. Though I wouldn't mind Cuckoo'S miss if they actually do. If Rook Hahn actually delivers on his end. If not, I can settle for Tom and Paul when they finally get the comeback they need. Coming off of that match that they had. So. But yeah, Cuckoo'S mess, Rick the Ruler Hahn, or New Tom as Video Drew's deciding to call her. And she's did pretty well. No perfect rounds from them, but yet surprisingly perfect rounds up until the bonus question from Real Rejects. Which, by the way, their entrance has the potential to be the entrance of the year. And the smartest thing is that they did was make it fresh off of what had happened earlier within the past month of the rewards. Even though technically, according to Andrew DeMolante, he has more excuse to bitch than a Greg Alba really does. Though I guess because of it, it led to this entrance, which Ruckel will probably get credited for too, because he was technically involved in it. Which, I mean, more so funnier, I think it should count as entrance with the mask swap, because, or at least have if not, at least let the mask swap and their little squat, and Alba and Roca Swabble be like a moment of the year. If you're not going to make it entrance of the year, do that at least, please. To quote Drew McWeeny, make it happen. So, one had the hype that Kaiser, especially within the dungeon itself more so, since I run that page, kind of, Juan was kind of built off as being this better Tom. Better than Tom. Didn't happen. Hell, and it didn't happen. Or at least better than what she knew of Tom before the Tom and Paul match. And I guess this time he got his... Well, the difference is I guess he got his round 3 question, and and Drew apparently got the round. And they had opponent's choice, and the problem is they wound up with a TKO, whereas Tom and Paul did well enough that they forced Deep 13 to basically earn the right with the last point. So technically, Tom and Paul is the better team and will eventually prove themselves to be, and hopefully not have the same situation that Whitney Seibold had. But I'm a little pissed about it, because I got to the point where I was kind of the hype from that about them, Cuckoo'S Miss. That's why they were in the favorites corner and not Real Rejects, because especially if you've seen their record, 1-5. The only win they had was against the Wainers, and they were supposedly meant to have the Young Bucks be a faction thing, and that just fell to crap immediately. It was just an idea that just never took off. And it makes me sad that was the case. But I love that their involvement in what is now the Quirky Mercs. I missed them being called Mouthy Mercs. And I guess them, along with Shazam and Marikonopic, are technically make the quirky part of Quirky Mercs work. But that's about it. I'd say Mouthy would have worked just fine as well. But yeah, it was a pretty good matchup, all things considering. But it was fun. I mean, not as good as the Tom Paul Deep 13, but it was fine. I don't know what the next team's match. I guess the next match is supposed to be a Star Wars match. I'm still waiting on the Patreon to pick up on that. I guess, and then I'm trying to figure out what's the singles match that's supposed to follow that up. But anyways, speaking of which, and even the Finstock Exchange, having talked about that earlier, and also the whole baby thing. I mean, his character, Rick Vaughn needs to work on his character a little bit. But it seems that it's more Kaiser and Drew's dynamic together is more what keeps it more interesting. And I kind of knew that I was almost wanting to clip and make a gif out of the scene where she comes up and hooks Kaiser from their match between Luna and Loose Cannons, because that would have been perfect to have been like, and that's when he knew. What he was going to do when this whole draft thing happened. Or something weird like that with the Morgan Freeman Force. But anyways, and then we get to the singles match. A better singles match than last week, although underwhelming given in terms of points, but for the most part it still went in the double digits. I don't even know if points wise it's better than the last match. And technically it kind of is, I guess. Kind of. But for the most part, as a match itself, it was definitely more interesting. And it was more tough because both players have had a rough go leading up into this point. And Jeannine is just... She's gonna... that's what's even more frustrating, is because Reilly, in terms of singles, doesn't have all that much he needs to prove. If anything, this match that he needed to do, at least on his own, was prove that he's not, of the members of the Four Horsemen, he's not deadweight. Especially given how things ended with the semifinal match of in the teams with Who's the Boss versus the Family. He still needs to conquer that whole guy thing, and Merle does, but he doesn't necessarily have to prove that he does. Him beating Bateman would probably be a part of that, but some people, and that, let's see. Other than that, the match itself was fine. There wasn't too much entrance-wise, aside from the fact that Reilly's got a new jacket, and Matt Kearns, I have issues with him here or there in terms about thumbnails, but this is before me deciding to do thumbnails the way I've been doing them lately, where I don't have to deal with any bitching. Other than that, I'm good with about anyone else from the Action Army that also somehow happens to be a fan of Reilly. If at all. But if they don't wind up blaming him for turning Ben and Trey, I don't know how it is, but right now he's a champ, so you can't really bitch about that. And of course, Jeremiah, old buddy Jerry, Jerry, Morris is probably gonna do his thing with bitching at Ben. Clearly, he's hashtag Team Guy, and I have my moments with Team Guy, but like in terms of what's going on with the family right now, yeah, I'm definitely on board. I don't mind him being a debonair, and if for some reason we get sort of a Team Action reunion, I think they'll be known as the Industry, or at least I have a feeling like if things go over not so well with that, by the way, going back on the Finstock thing, which since and it turns out Reilly did have something to prove with it, and there's a lot of interesting it's just it was more the fact that the wheel rounds so far this season are what have been the true make or breaks, because the questions in the round 1 at the very least have been definitely the easiest, and even the round 3s to some extent, with the exceptions of the obvious 3 to 5 pointers. The 2 pointers have been kind of quite easy, even though certain people that aren't that up to snuff with trivia would probably tell you otherwise. But anyways, I expect better from Han, by the way. And Smats, please beat Morrow now. I was a little leery about it here and there, but you're going to have to now just so Dungeon can get up there somewhere, because we need something, dude. Because I'm kind of getting tired of us getting shit on here right now. Especially after what happened with God, remember the brief moment once, like, Smith's got the belt and then the fucking group seemed to have been at least neck and neck, if not slightly higher in terms of membership than freaking corruption? God, those were the days. Those were the days. Anyway, sorry, I had my own family moment, and my grandpa, rest in peace. He was a huge fan, and that's how I knew about that. Between that and Married with Children, and some weird police procedural that had Pamela Anderson in it, just being Pamela Anderson, essentially. My grandpa was slightly pervy. I don't know what to tell you. He might have liked, if, I don't know what he would have felt about songs like Puss in Boots from Wheeler Walker Jr. I wouldn't be surprised if he liked it. But anyway, that's another story. I'm sorry about that. I'm getting on a tangent again. But anyways, good for the Real Rejects. He also made a comment. I mean, good for Coy too. I guess he needed the Quirky Mercs themselves needed a win. I guess given the loss they wound up having with 2 players losing to 1 Finstock Exchange member at the live event. And then it's Usual Suspects versus Finstock Exchange. And then with both of them coming off a win, this was a make or break between those teams, I guess. And it sucks because Jeannine is the one that needs this more than anything because she's having a tough, these past couple years have been a tough time for her. And she just never got a good break. And Rachel Silverstream is not one either that hasn't been. And hopefully things with Big Goddard will work out better as a team. I'm trying to remember what team name there actually are at this point. But yeah, I can't wait for them to work, for things to work with them. Work out with them. If not, and she needs a better partner, I think her and Jeannine as a team could be the next Shire Wolves if we're going for another all-female team to, the Shire Wolves already set the bar, and I feel like if somehow, some way, Jeannine the Machine, Bryce is her actual last name, just so you know, even though they say LC, it's Bryce. That's Bryce if you look up or at least that's her surname, not maiden name. Maybe something with the LC is a maiden name. I don't know. But anyways, her and Rachel Silverstream, they're going by Switchblade, so I had a good team name too. I was thinking like I'd like the Alita Battle, like referencing a movie, like maybe Battle Angels. Like they should call themselves Battle Angels. That'd be great. Something they're tough. That shows they're tough women and other things that it's going in a bad direction now. Never mind. But I mean, you get hopefully you get the sentiment on it. But anyways, yes. Well, and then it'd be funny if Video Drew versus Bonnie Summerhill was a thing too, but that's probably will never happen because of Bonnie being busy as always. But anyways, and after that loss, she needs to win and actually, show up for more of these matches. And it sucks because we were expecting her to win, and then it wound up being Brett, and good on him. I don't expect him to win another match. If anything, I think the only other matchup he should have is Makuga or something, because that's the only way this will probably work. Or like Dewberry. Those are the only people that could actually make him build up a record. I don't know. But I have him face Makuga and then have him face Dewberry or something, because more likely Dewberry's going to win in that Wildberry Civil War match. Though if Makuga pulls a Makuga, that'd be freaking hilarious. But we'll see how that goes. But right now, I also, speaking of the segues, the whole chinchilla thing but for the Barbarian is hysterical. I dig it. Their chemistry, him and Finstock's chemistry is freaking gold. Which that needed to be a good setup for what would wind up happening in that matchup going in with Reilly and them. And I love the red jacket thing, like I said, and then it just didn't work out because he got a good spin in horror, and it just wound up with him getting a TKO, which I guess is the first in singles, which is weird, I guess. And Real Rogers just never had, and needed, I guess they needed a win, and I guess somehow Coy's doing something right, and it's clear they're actually giving a damn. They said they're sitting down, taking it seriously, but so is Video Drew. Rick Wallen has proven that he can. It's just a shame they were settled a bad 5-point question, because I would have loved for them to at least force the Real Rejects to answer a question, just so it wouldn't have felt as in vain to me, because they're better than having a loss with a TKO on them. Honestly. And I'm hoping that I don't know for sure, but maybe the old Tom, Rick the Ruler Han, should face Tom and see how that plays up. As I don't know what he's doing personality-wise, but Han's, it's not working as well. Nearly as good or as well, even the baby thing. It's not working as well. Tom had something to him, and it's working. And it still is working. It's just a shame he doesn't have both Paul and it seems who's her and Kate don't know what they're, and the Mama Lion herself, Kate Mulligan, are having a hard time figuring out how to handle Tom right now. As both a character and how to get him to be what he was for Video Drew, because Video Drew was able to keep him enough in line to where he could spit out the questions that he needed to. And that, or he's now going to be going through what Ethan Irwin wound up going through last year. And I'm worried about that too. I don't want him to be burnt out. I want him to be able to still get through what he's doing and prove himself. Him and Paul are a force to be reckoned with eventually when that happens. Also, Jeannine, please just don't. Also, the comments that Emma made, which that was kind of, her at the desk did kind of lift up my spirits a little bit. Anyways, though Jeannine losing did suck, but this is good on Reilly. He kind of needed to get out of his little funk and prove his worth. It was also funny having Cody Hall use his powers to be as part of Finstock Exchange to show, hey, I'm here too. I'm part of this faction as well. While he's doing his thing behind the scenes, which was great. It's like, but anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. There was also another the segment where basically, after having just dealt with the whole loony bin thing, like my missing loony bin thing, and then them further beating the dead horse of having pun sort of not really intended. But anyways, the whole thing, yeah, sorry about that spit action. But anyways, the whole thing with Shannon and Hoyk kind of trying to basically mind F Dewberry. I don't know how that's going to play out, and it's like, well, I'd laugh my ass off if they lose, and it's really more Hook's fault, because especially Dewberry has to carry the damn team. I don't think she'll ever let him go. It's just part of that gimmick thing, and I think it's stupid, because if you're going to lose points with this team, because you already lost with Bonnie, you can't risk that with that team. But anyways, I'm trying to figure out what matches are next for this week. I think a Star Wars match, and I think the Barbarian's supposed to be having a debut match. I'm not entirely sure, but anyways, I'm guessing from what I don't know when the Ken and Sean Sullivan thing's supposed to happen. I think Knapsack Sullivan should be a thing that's supposed to happen, but from what they hinted at from last week's thing. But anyways, that's all I know for right now, and it seems what did you guys think of the matches between Cuckoo'S Mess and Real Rejects and the Jeannine versus Mark Reilly? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Let me know about your thoughts on that. As well as link in the description to my Facebook page. You can follow me there. This is Rockin' Movies with Tyler. I'm Tyler. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown and Schmoedown Rocks, as well as the Skybound and the Schmoedown Entertainment Network, and also keep it rocking. And take care. And if you smell what the Schmoedown is cooking, ooh yeah, the cream rises to the top.